Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another reading vlog. This time it's for the Samurai Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. So the TV show for the Samurai Turned Pretty, the first season, is coming out soon. I'm either putting this vlog out on release day or like shortly after release day for the show. So go watch the show if you haven't. I'm very excited for it. I read these books years ago for the first time. I read them, I believe, when I was like 14, 15, and they were a lot of fun. I remember really loving them. The last one made me angry because Belly, our main character, did not end up with who I wanted her to, and that's like the only time a love triangle has not worked out in my favor. So I'm still a little salty about it, still don't quite understand, but I have not reread them before, and I'm kind of scared to because they are very old YA books. They came out in like 2009, so they're like, you know, in that category of like very cliche, stereotypical kind of rom-coms, I guess. Like they're just probably not going to be like as good as To All the Boys, which came out like a lot later. So I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a very wild ride to reread these books, but I've been wanting to do it for a very long time. So the first season of the show coming out is a perfect excuse to read them, I think. I think the first season is just focused on the first book, but if I'm reading the first book, I might as well read the other two. You know, while we're here, they're very short books. I remember them being quick reads, so we're just gonna go for the whole series, I think. It's already been renewed for season 2. It's usually a good sign when shows are renewed before the first season even airs. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping that it's a good adaptation. I believe that Jenny Han herself like wrote the show or was like a showrunner for it. She was very, very heavily involved in the making of the show, so that gives me hope. From what I can remember, the show looks a little bit different than the book, but like I said, I read this so long ago that I honestly don't remember a whole lot. Like I don't remember what like the main plot part of this book is. Like I don't know what's actually going on, but I'm excited to read this. So I think I'm gonna start reading it right now actually and see how I feel about it. Okay, so I'm on page 155 of this book, over halfway through. I wasn't necessarily planning on reading this entire thing today, but I think I'm going to. I took a break for a while because I went to Costco with my mom, and then I had dinner, and then I was about to sit down and do some writing, but I really don't feel like it. So unexpectedly, I have my night open now to read. So it is going pretty quickly. So I think I will be able to finish it today and then jump into the second book tomorrow. My feelings so far on this book are a little complicated. I'm not enjoying it. Obviously, I was able to sit there and like focus on it for 154 pages. The writing is not my favorite. I also forgot that like there are chapters from like Belly's past, like past summers at this like summer beach house, and it like is in no particular order, just kind of jumps from like different young ages to kind of like explain things that are going on, I guess. Not my favorite parts, but I do like getting that kind of context to everything, I suppose. But it definitely does read like an old school YA. Like, yeah, there's just some iffy things, you know? Some iffy vibes. I don't like Conrad. I've never really liked Conrad. He has his moments where I'm like, yeah, he's fine, but I just like much prefer Jeremiah, but we haven't really focused that much on Jeremiah yet in this one. He's just kind of like there sometimes, but Belly is so focused on Conrad and now this other dude Cam that I honestly don't care about at all. But like, I don't know, like I don't like Conrad. Like some of the things that he says and does, I'm just like, get out of here. I don't like you. I feel like there was something else that I wanted to touch on and now I'm completely forgetting because it's been a couple of hours since I was sitting and reading it. I don't know. There was something, and now it's gonna bother me that I can't remember what it was. There was just like one like little part or like one little thing that like rubbed me the wrong way. Oh, okay. It's the whole premise of the book, essentially. Like the whole fact that like she's all of a sudden pretty now. It's kind of like the cliche thing of like, oh, you take your glasses off and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're gorgeous, you know? She's 16. You don't really necessarily change that much from 15 to 16. At least I feel like I didn't change that much. So you're telling me that she all of a sudden is gorgeous and like really pretty, and like every guy is taking notice of her when they didn't before because she took her glasses off? I don't buy it, and gives me the vibes of like the makeovers and like all of like the old rom-coms and whatnot, like from the 80s and 90s and like early 2000s or whatever. Like that was like a staple of the genre, and I feel like that's definitely the energy we're getting in this book. But because I knew that going into it, it doesn't really bother me because it's not like it was like a key part of the book that I just forgot. Like it's kind of hard to forget that that's a part of the story. And also I just hate the trope in general where like a character takes their glasses off and all of a sudden is pretty, probably because I wear glasses and I've always worn glasses. And I honestly prefer myself with glasses on, probably because I'm so used to wearing them. There's also a line that Conrad said that I think was in the trailer, but they changed Belly's response to it. So he basically says, I liked you better with your glasses on. In the trailer she says, I liked me better without them, which like, great, you do you. Love that she's like taking that power and being like, I don't care what you think, like I like me better this way. But in the book she just said like the contacts are here to stay, like too bad, which like has like the same energy, but I like what they did in the show better just from what we saw from that line in the trailer. But yeah, anyways, yeah, just that whole part of like her all of a sudden being pretty is just like not my favorite. But I'm not like disliking it. If my memory serves correctly, I think the second one is my favorite anyway because it has more Jeremiah in it and I do like him better than Conrad. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish reading this book, which I'm actually kind of excited to do. While I was reading it, I had like a beach ambiance on the TV, which was quite nice. It was just like the sound of waves in the background, which is obviously very fitting for this book, considering it takes place entirely on a beach. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing right now, which I'm excited to do. So I will catch you on the flip side. Why did I say that? I don't know. I'll see you when I'm done reading. Okay, so I've now finished The Summer I Turned Pretty. There were some moments in that like less than second half that I had left that definitely had me like, excuse you, like it's just like really like outdated kind of like jokes and things that you just wouldn't find in books nowadays. And it was like just, yeah, it was just really showing its age because it came out so long ago. Nothing really happens in this book. Like things happen, but like considering this entire trilogy is really based around like a love triangle between Belly, Jeremiah, and Conrad, this book doesn't really focus on any of that. Like she's dating another dude for like the majority of this book, and there's just like slight like yearning for one of the brothers, and it's just kind of like, this book's boring, you know? Like I do think, like I mentioned earlier, I do think the second one's my favorite. Oh. Okay, wait, I don't remember anything about this book actually. Yeah, this book was just not my favorite. It was good, it was fine. It was like, I read this obviously in a single day, like it was great. I did rewatch the trailer after reading the book because when I watched the trailer whenever it came out recently, I was like, this feels a lot different from the book, but like I couldn't remember any like specifics because it had been so long. But basically the trailer is like talking about this like debutante ball that is going on, but Conrad and Jeremiah's mom Susanna is like, which one of you boys is going to escort Belly to the dance? And like both of them are just silent. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, I don't remember that being in the book, but I was like, maybe I'm just misremembering. So, you know, I reread the book. It's not mentioned once. There's no debutante ball. I was reading the comments on the trailer as I rewatched it though, and everyone's like, it does look quite different from the book, but it does have like the essence of the book of like the family and the friendships and the, you know, the crushes and whatnot and like the summer vibes, but like modernizing it a bit and like improving upon it and fixing things that maybe weren't so great about this first book. And I'm actually not mad about the changes. The debutante ball I feel like could present some like fun situations and maybe like heighten the rivalry between the brothers in terms of like Belly and really bring that into the first season from this first book. Because another thing that I noticed from the trailer is Belly mentioning how she kind of has feelings for Jeremiah too, which never happens in the book. Like she just completely sees Jeremiah as a friend, but she's like obsessed with Conrad, and then there's the other dude, Cam, but like none of her focus is on Jeremiah as like a love interest, you know? But that seems to be different in the show, which I'm actually looking forward to because like I've mentioned, Jeremiah is my favorite of the two brothers, and obviously like I also said in this clip, the whole point of this trilogy to me is that love triangle and like the whole two brother thing. So I'm glad that it's seeming like they're bringing that into like a forefront of the show. It does look like, at least from what I can perceive, that they are going to be mentioning like the flashbacks that are mentioned in this book. It's gonna be very interesting to see what the season's gonna shape up to look like. Like I said earlier, Jenny Han was a huge part of this show. She was like a showrunner. I believe she wrote the show, or at least some of the show. So I do believe that it's obviously like her vision for it, and like she obviously signed off on everything and like whatever. So I am really excited, and I think that I'm gonna like this show a lot lot better than I enjoyed the book, because it just, I don't know, it just looks more interesting to me based off the trailer. So I'm excited about that. But I'm glad that I finished that. Was not expecting to finish it in one day. So now I'll be jumping in to It's Not Summer Without You, and I'll be starting this tomorrow, and I guess we will see if this one is my favorite, because I already know the last one's not my favorite, considering she does not end up with what I want her to end up with. So I just know it's not my favorite. So I guess we'll see when I pick this up tomorrow if this one is my favorite in the series, which I think is going to be very interesting to find out. Okay, so I'm only on page 29 of It's Not Summer Without You, and I totally forgot that there was like Jeremiah chapters in this book. Like, he has his own POV, and there's only been one chapter so far. I just finished it and it was literally like 2 pages long, but I totally forgot that that was a thing, and now I'm like kind of excited because, as I've mentioned many times, Jeremiah is my favorite. I am a Jeremiah girl through and through. But yeah, so far the beginning of this book is sad. It's sad. I'm not gonna like talk about why, because I'm gonna try to keep these to like minimal spoilers, but the beginning of the book is sad, and it is kind of like hurting me a little bit, but like not too deeply. I think it probably affected me more the first time I read it. But yeah, so I'm on chapter 5. I'm hoping to read either all of this today or most of it. It's currently 8:20 p.m. though. But I think this book honestly didn't take me that long to read yesterday. I've been listening to a beach ambiance while reading, and I think it was only like not even 3 hours. And like I was listening to it the entire time I was reading yesterday. So I think the first book literally didn't even take me 3 hours to read in total. So I think that I might be able to do this if I just like, you know, focus and not go on Twitter or YouTube. So yeah, but I'm kind of excited to get into like the meat of this book, because I really don't remember it that well. I feel like my brain just goes from book 1 straight to book 3, and I feel like I probably remember book 3 the most because it was my least favorite. I find when I dislike books, I tend to remember more about them, and I don't know if there's like a reasoning behind that, if there's like an actual like scientific reasoning behind that, but I feel like because I didn't love that one, I remember more details from it. Like, I think I even remember exactly how it like starts, whereas this one I was a bit like more foggy on. So yeah, I genuinely don't remember what happens in this book. I'm gonna get back to reading, but yeah, I was just shocked that there were Jeremiah chapters in this book because I completely forgot about that. I'm on page 92 now. I really don't like Conrad, and like I really don't understand why Belly likes Conrad and why it's like always about him, and like she just loves him so much, and like I don't get it. I really don't. I don't see the appeal in him besides maybe good looks. Like, he's just such an ass, and he doesn't treat her well, and I don't like him. Jeremiah is clearly the much better dude, and I just know that rereading this series is gonna make me so like mad, because it's just gonna be like time after time of me just knowing how much I don't like Conrad and seeing how good Jeremiah is, and just knowing how the whole series turns out, you know? Why did Jenny Hunt do this? I hate it. I just finished this book. That ending was so abrupt. And it just like had like, what? Like, this is the last page. It ended. And then there's like this much of like an epilogue type thing where it says a couple of years later, and it's like the most vague thing ever to like lead into the last book. I'm so confused. I mean, like, I know what it means because I've read the last book, and I, like I said, remember more of the last book than I do of this one. I'm scared to read the last book, honestly, but happy to say that I did enjoy this one more than the previous, more than the first book. There was like not a whole lot more of like Jeremiah and Belly necessarily, but because we got Jeremiah's point of view, we got to like see more about him and learn more about him and kind of like see his feelings and thoughts, which I really enjoyed. Conrad is still a dick. That hasn't changed, which is why, like I said, the last book just really confuses me, especially since like, I don't know, This whole series confuses me, honestly, so I don't know, but I'm gonna pick up the final book tomorrow. I might not be able to finish it tomorrow because I'm going to my best friend's house in the evening, so it just kind of depends. But I'm gonna try to read as much of it as possible. But the series is weird. I kind of enjoy it, but at the same time it's like, it's weird. I don't know, but I did like this one better than the first book, which is a good thing, I guess. I'm on page 22 of the final book, We'll Always Have Summer, and I thought that I remembered this book. I said it yesterday, made clips talking about how I remembered this book, I feel like, the most out of all of them, you know? It's like I even remember how it starts. But I feel like because I didn't love that one, I remember more details from it. Like, I think I even remember exactly how it, like, starts. I did not remember how it started. Where we stand right now in this current moment in the story, I don't even like Jeremiah. Like, am I on nobody's team? Because what just happened? I completely forgot happened, like, at all. Chandler is glaring at me right now. Have I disturbed you? Look at that face. Hi, Chin Chin. So Jeremiah has just done a very, very stupid thing, and it's giving me very Ross and Rachel vibes from Friends. I hate Ross. So does that mean that I now also don't like Jeremiah? I'm scared. Because I have very confidently been Team Jeremiah since I first read this book series. So since I did not remember this thing happening, I clearly don't remember how it gets resolved and how we get from point A to point B with what happens in this book. So I might be speaking too soon. I might not dislike Jeremiah. You know, he might redeem himself because he did have some cute moments before this bad thing was revealed. So maybe it'll get better, but also, like, will it? Has this whole book, this whole series just been tainted for me? We shall see. We shall see. I'm on page 60 now. This book is weird. It's weird. Like, how did we get from there to here? Why is this happening? This is the part that I remembered. And for some reason, this is where I thought the book started. I did not remember that this is what, you know, happened exactly. I'm so confused. This book is a mess to me. Like, what is going on? I have literally zero words about this. Like, I'm still feeling iffy on Jeremiah, which I'm not enjoying because I've been very firmly Team Jeremiah this entire time. Okay, so I finished We'll Always Have Summer the other day, and let's talk about it. You know, I already knew going into this series reread that this one was my least favorite. Already knew that. I didn't have to reread it to know that, you know? And I already mentioned, like, my reasonings for why I remembered it not being my favorite. And it's because Belly chooses the guy I didn't want her to end up with in this whole, like, love triangle situation. So I knew that it was going to bother me a second time around. Feelings have changed a little bit, but not in the way that you would assume. Like, I don't all of a sudden like the guy that she decided to go with. Plot twist. I don't like any of them. Controversial, perhaps. I don't like Conrad. Never liked Conrad. Jeremiah isn't the worst, but his character takes a turn for the worst in this book, you know? Like, he's... oof. He loses some points for sure. Like, I think I would still rather, like, Belly be with Jeremiah than Conrad. Maybe, but I don't know. I was also just, like, less mad in general about the ending of this book and everything. But I don't really like Belly either. I mean, she's, like, equally as bad as both of the boys. And so, like, I feel like I'm just not rooting for anybody at this point. Like, I just... I don't care, you know? Like, it's just kind of like, you've lost me at this point, you know? This book is just not it for me. It's not my favorite. But I don't know if I've mentioned this at any point in this vlog. I think I did for the second book. But like, I read each of these books in like under 2 hours each. These are like 300 pages. I don't know how I did that, because normally I read a page a minute, so that equals to 60 pages per hour. So make it make sense. The math isn't mathing right now. But like, I had a beach ambiance on, and each time I only read if the ambiance was on, and each time the ambiance was like within minutes of the 2 hour mark. Whether it was like an hour and like 57 minutes, or if it was like 2 hours and like 6 minutes, like they were all within minutes of the 2 hour mark. How did I do that? Peyton likes to call me Lightning McQueen because I read so quickly, and I think I'm finally understanding that nickname a little bit and claiming it, if you will, because I really don't know. I don't know how this happened. Like, I guess they're just like really easy and quick reads, but like 2 hours per book? So like, this whole series only took me 6 hours to read. I literally I don't know. But anyways, my feelings on these series as a whole. It's a fun time. You know, it's not the worst thing. It's certainly not the best thing. I think maybe if it was written today, it could be better. It could be executed a bit better. But like, overall, it's a fun time. I would maybe consider rereading it again in the future. Not enough to like buy new editions of them, because these are the original ugly ones. And like, at some point I like considered possibly buying new ones if I like reread it and loved it. But I just don't think I care enough to buy the new covers or to buy like the TV cover. I think I'm good with these ugly ones, because I'm not spending more money on this series, you know? If I were to rank the books, I feel like It's Not Summer Without You is my favorite one, even though it does have like a lot of Conrad stuff in it. And then maybe the first book, and then the third book, I guess. I don't know. But now it's time to watch the TV show. So, I mean, I've already watched it, but let's like pretend that I haven't, you know? Let's pretend. Okay, so my battery is dying, so I need to make this quick, but I have watched the entirety of season 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and my goodness, I loved it. I'm like quite literally obsessed with the show. Like, I just finished it a couple of hours ago and I already want to rewatch it. Literally stayed up till 3 in the morning watching it, and then like couldn't go to bed till 4 in the morning because I was like processing everything, and then I proceeded to dream about it the entire night. Jeremiah and Conrad infiltrated my dreams a little bit. A lot of it. A lot of it, a lot. But I really loved it. Like, I think this is one of the best adaptations that I've seen in a long time. I haven't seen that many recently, but it is like one of my favorites now. It's just, I don't know, like, it just took anything that was good about the books and just like intensified it and made it so much better. And I also feel like it was just the kind of story that translates better onto the screen. So this is the one time this shirt is wrong, okay? The book was not better in this sense, the show was better. And I do think, like I was talking about in the last clip about how maybe if it was written today it would be better. I think that because the show was written today, like more recently, it was more modernized, it was a lot better. Like, it made more sense now than it did back then. Like, it was just written better, do you know what I mean? They did keep a lot of like source material. Like, there was a lot of things, a lot of lines, a lot of little details that were the same from the books, which I appreciated, but I love the things that they changed. I was a little nervous about like the debutante stuff and like just things that were coming so out of left field that like weren't even like mentioned or a thing in the books. There was also like a whole volleyball tournament that was really fun that was not in the books, and so I was kind of nervous about the debutante because I don't know if we saw volleyball in the trailer. So I was nervous about it, but honestly I really enjoyed it, and I do think it added like a good like backdrop to things, and I don't know, it added a lot to the show. So I liked all the changes they made. There were no changes necessarily where I was like, kind of wish they didn't do that. And I loved all the details that they kept in, like Junior Mint, which is like her polar bear stuffy that Conrad won her. They never like explained where the like bear came from, but like if you read the book you know. So I liked that little detail. I actually liked Conrad more in the show than I did in the book. Maybe it was due to the actor and his like great performance of Conrad, or maybe it's because the show allowed us, since it's a longer form than a movie, we got to see more and we got to get into his head a bit more. We got to see like scenes from his perspective. It elaborated more on his character than what was in the book and what we actually saw. We got to learn more about him and like kind of peel back the layers sooner than we got to in the book. So I feel like throughout the entire show we could kind of like understand where he was coming from and like, you know, understand his character and sympathize a little bit more. So I ended up liking him a lot more for sure. And honestly, it kind of like enriched the love triangle, because we all know I was team Jeremiah the entire series. Now I'm team nobody in the books. Like I don't really care for anybody, but I was going to the show very firmly being like, okay, I'm team Jeremiah, no Conrad. I was kind of vibing on Belly and Conrad a little bit, like definitely Jeremiah too. Honestly, even a little bit with Cam, which I didn't know if they were going to include him in the show. I don't remember if I saw him in the trailer or not, but like I didn't know if they were going to include him or not, and I'm glad that they did, because I really liked the actor who did it. He did a good job. But yeah, like I believed in the love triangle more. It was heightened more than it was, especially in the first book, because Jeremiah isn't like present as much in the love triangle situation in the first book. It just is more in the second book and onwards. But yeah, I really ended up enjoying it. Now I kind of like I'm okay if she ends up with either one in the show, at least where we are currently. Like I don't know what they're gonna do with season 2. They also did do things a bit differently in terms of the love triangle and like kind of how it progresses and stuff. It's definitely different than the book, and so I'm kind of curious to see how they're gonna do that in season 2, since it was confirmed before the show even came out that it was getting a season 2. My camera battery totally just died, but I think I was talking about how I'm really intrigued to see what they're gonna do with season 2 and how they're gonna like figure out the love triangle, just based on like how they changed things from the book to the show in this first season. Like it kind of like messes with the flow of book 2, so they're gonna have to like adjust it to make sense, and I'm really intrigued to see how they're gonna like do that. I think it has the potential to be really, really good. But yeah, I really enjoyed this show. Episode 7 made me cry. Like I sobbed. So funny, because the thing that I was crying at didn't make me cry in the books. Like yeah, it was sad. Maybe I cried the first time I read it, I don't know, but like in this reread I did not cry, but like I freaking sobbed in the show. But yeah, I'm honestly like in love with this TV show, which was like not fully expected. Like I think I mentioned, I knew that I was gonna like it more than the books, but I was not expecting to be like this obsessed. Like I am ready to do a rewatch already. Like I just want to like immerse myself in this series. Like it gave me such great like summer beach vibes, obviously. Like the show just made me really happy, except for the last episode. The vibes were just immaculate. The soundtrack was fun, and I just think the show was really well made. The like cinematography was fun. The acting was really, really good. The writing was great. Like I don't know, I was just like, I really freaking liked the show, guys. Like I was not really expecting this, but like I really, really, really enjoyed it, which I'm really happy about, because I feel like that gives this vlog like a really nice happy ending, since I'm not like obsessed with the books. I love when book adaptations work out, because like when they do change things, there is such an opportunity for it to go wrong and for the changes to be like, why did you do that, you know, kind of thing, which I think is where a lot of book adaptations fail, is when they make like really unnecessary changes. But I don't feel like this one did that. Like I feel like everything they changed was to enhance the story, and it really, really paid off and worked out in the end for them. Also, they made Jeremiah bisexual, which I just adored. He was amazing. Like Jeremiah is great in the books, at least in like the first couple, but like he was amazing in the show. Like the charisma that just like oozed off that actor, like he did a freaking phenomenal job filling the role of Jeremiah. The show was a lot of fun, but I'm really, really looking forward to season 2 and seeing what they do with that. Okay, editing Brittany popping in here just to give like a little bit of an update on the Summer I Turned Pretty show. It's been a week since the show has come out, and since I watched it for the first time. I have now in total watched it 5 times. So if that tells you anything about how much I enjoyed the show, it is fantastic. I am actually obsessed with it. Like it's all I think about. It has invaded my dreams
far too many times. It's all over my TikTok. It's like the only thing in my liked TikToks right now. I keep listening to the soundtrack, like all the Taylor Swift songs. I just can't stop listening to them. Phoebe Bridgers, like I can't stop. And yeah, I am like 100% fully team Conrad in the show. I'm going to reread the books again. I found out that the audiobooks are narrated by the cast, like by Lola Tung and everybody, and so I recommended them at my library and they got the first one, so I'm just waiting for the hold to come in, and then I'm going to be re-listening to it just to kind of see if I end up liking Conrad more in the books because of the show. Because like through TikTok and like through people like posting snippets and stuff from the book, I realized that a lot of my favorite Conrad scenes from the show are directly from the book. And I just somehow didn't realize, even though I just read the books like right before watching the show. But I think because I went into it knowing that I did not like Conrad, I like did not pay attention as well as I probably should have to the Conrad scenes, and I probably just like cringed at them and was like, get this, like let's move on, let's get to Jeremiah kind of thing. I still love Jeremiah, just in the show I see them definitely more as like just best friends, and like I don't see the connection as much as I saw in the books. But like I'm fully team Conrad and I'm having like a full-on identity crisis about it. Like 15-year-old Brittany, who's gonna tell her? Who is gonna tell her that I am team Conrad? Because she is gonna be just utterly heartbroken. I don't know how this happened. Like this show is magnificent and I cannot wait till season 2. I just needed to pop in here and tell you just how strong this obsession is going, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I can't stop thinking about it. I can't. But yeah, let's just go back to the rest of the vlog. Yeah, I think that's it for this vlog. I'm just like very happy about this outcome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what you think of the Summer I Turned Pretty books, what you think of the show, what you think of them in comparison with each other. Let me know all the things down below, because I'd love to hear everyone else's thoughts on the show. I haven't seen any negative things so far. I've only seen good things. So let me know down below what you thought of it. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!